Only a small one. It's got a big white P painted on the back. There's a pile of possessions being brought in with the injured and dumped in reception. I'll go and have a quick check. To her shuddering relief, someone had brought her backpack to the hospital, though she had to identify its contents before the nurse would give it to her. She sighed in relief as he stood it beside the bed, because she'd have been lost without it. It was dusty, but when she looked inside, the contents seemed untouched. Now you've got your own phone, can you call a friend to pick you up, Miss Bennington? And can you... Yet another ambulance siren sounded outside. Sorry, I have to go. Please try to rest. The nurse hurried away. How many people had been hurt, for heaven's sake? She wondered. The ambulances seemed to be coming in, one after the other. Someone outside the entrance shouted for a crash team to come at once, and she shuddered. She'd never been quite so close to being killed before, and mentally blessed whatever fate or blind chance had saved her. She should be out there reporting the incident, but couldn't summon up the strength, just couldn't do it. Not this time. For a while, not wanting to take the nurses away from people whose injuries were worse than hers, she tried to obey orders and rest. She really did. But she couldn't manage it, lying on such an uncomfortable shelf-like bed, with all that bustle and noise just the other side of a flimsy curtain. At least she was recovering, could feel her mind slowly coming back into clearer focus. Only that was a double-edged sword because she had nothing to do with her thoughts except worry. She noticed her watch on a stand next to the bed and put it on. It had a big, clear dial and seemed to be working still. It ought to be. It had been expensive, not bought to be pretty, but because the brand was famed for the accuracy and toughness of its watches. A quarter of an hour crawled slowly past. Only 2 or 3 minutes gone by each time she looked. By then she felt so frustrated, she swung round on the narrow bed and sat upright on the edge, swinging her feet. That soon palled, and she stood up tentatively, relieved not to feel dizzy. Staying here was silly. She was all right now. She'd get out of their way. She winced as a man screamed hoarsely nearby. A woman stumbled past her cubicle, weeping. Cassie could only see her feet, but she could hear the anguish in the tears all too clearly. She couldn't do this any longer. Dragging off the gown, she put her outer clothes on again, grimacing at the mess they were in. It felt better to be fully covered on this chilly summer day, as if she'd taken control of herself again. She sat down and waited, but 10 more minutes crawled past, and no one came to see her. Oh, to hell with it. She stood up and grabbed the backpack, pushing aside the curtain at the front of her cubicle. As she was moving through the reception area, the same nurse spotted her and hurried across. You haven't been discharged yet, Miss Bennington. Please go and lie down again. Doctor will come back to you as soon as she can. She needs to check that you're fit to leave. I feel a lot better, honestly. I'd rather go home now. I can't rest here. Have you asked a friend to pick you up? No, I'll catch a taxi. It was how she mostly got about in London. You should... Oh, just a minute. Stay there. He turned away to help with a woman who had walked into the busy area, cradling her arm as if it hurt, followed by a man carrying a small child with a bloody leg. Cassie took the opportunity to hurry towards the exit. She was in luck. A taxi was just dropping someone off, and the driver was happy to take another fare. She felt guilty for treating the hospital staff like that, but she had to get home, simply had to. She needed peace and quiet to recover. She had never expected to be personally involved in a serious accident, let alone a terrorist incident, even though she'd faced all sorts of risky interview situations. Did anyone expect such lunatic behaviour to touch their lives? Not unless they were in a combat zone. As she sat in the taxi, it upset her that she hadn't known who to call for help. She had plenty of acquaintances, but who could she consider a close enough friend to come to her aid? No one these days. And that upset her. Since she and Brett had split up, she seemed to have lost contact with so many people. Or they'd lost contact with her. She'd been working hard, burying her upset about him leaving her by concentrating on other people's stories. The taxi driver opened the rear door, and it was a few moments before she realised...